Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Look into businesses that impact children. Now, I said this channel would be talking about how to manage money and everything, but you know me, I'm still going to talk about business. And I'm going to tell you what. Businesses that create toys and things of that nature are still doing well overall in this economy. Even with these lockdowns, COVID, like the kids at home, they still need something to do. Yeah, they taking online classes, but what they gonna do afterwards? They gonna play. They always gonna want toys. That's why during the Christmas season, so many businesses really make their money. Indeed, you have some businesses that the only time they really make anything is during the Christmas season for children. And those are just toys. Because, when a baby is born, they need so many things. And the beauty of it is, despite overall there's, the birth rates have slowed down, but babies are still popping out. They need stuff. They need diapers, no matter what. They need those wipes. They need baby food. For people who don't breastfeed, they need that formula. They need those clothes. And the beauty of baby clothes is people got to keep buying them. I always say I used to work retail and in this major department store. Even had, I was working as a merchandiser. The kids section always stayed full. Kids section. People come in there. I mean, that's one of those things. If you have a business that caters to children, you see that pregnant woman walking by, you need to be like cha-ching. But the issue there is just having something that's going to appeal. And it's so many little things. I mean, you have entire businesses you would have restaurants that cater specifically to kids. I'm not going to give any names because, they're not paying me. But, you have a lot of business. If you look at a lot of stuff, it's catering to children. Maternity businesses, they still do a lot because that's not even just the children. That's clothing for the moms and everything. Like anything around children. In fact, whenever there's an economic slowdown, always look at the birth rates. Like if, for example, if you have, say in the range of children from birth to 18, okay, you going through and say a certain amount of children were born a certain year or less than normal. About when those children, as they get older, you'll start noticing, wait a minute, there's a dip in the overall economy. Because everything is connected. That's because of the children. Indeed, I remember an example from my high school, and this was the late 80s. It was an all-boys high school. And I remember one year the amount of students in there, male students, they went down to 400. The capacity was 900, but it went down to 400. But that's because that particular year that these kids were coming up, those were slow birth years. It means everything. Overall, look at demographics when you want to look at the economy. And that's an even bigger thing. Right now, we're just going to focus on that, especially if you want to get into business. Think about, what do you have that appeals to kids? It could be making candies. It could be making food. It could be clothing. It could be games. Like a good child's game. Shit, it could be making boxes to have it in. Anybody who've had kids know you get them all this stuff for Christmas, have it under the Christmas tree, and they'll look at it, put it to the side, and play in the box. And the thing is, speaking of the box, think about it. You have a lot of secondary and tertiary businesses that are connected with whoever's making the thing. See, that's the important thing. And indeed, like I said, if we want to look at the bigger picture, when the economy starts dipping, look at the birth rate. That's very important because there's so many things for the children. I mean, the clothing, the food, the toys, the games. Indeed, you have some sports companies that have created businesses out of creating sporting opportunities or training children. Anything. It creates so much of the economy. And what's important is finding something that you would like to do. And something else too, you have to love children to do it. Don't get into anything that impacts children and you don't like children. I'm just going to be real because you're not going to have it. You're not going to have that feeling. I mean, like I said, when you sit down and think about it, I was just like, wait a minute, computer games. These kids be in their phones and everything. Indeed, how much online is catered to children? The good stuff, anyway. The good stuff. Look into that because, like I said, that's like the thing. You can always get more customers. You can always get more customers, and you can impact not just the children but their parents. I've heard of daycares that, like I give you an example at this local gym. They actually sponsored a program where they would babysit the children at night, specifically for parents to go on date nights, which was smart. And speaking of babysitting, that's one of the oldest businesses in the book. Daycare centers. Now, they took a hit with this whole COVID thing, but overall, you have it. I remember I lived in this house, and the next door neighbor had a daycare center in her place. The next door neighbor had a daycare center. I mean, it impacts children. That's important to think about. But like I said, you got to love children to do it. You got to love children to get into it. But there are so many opportunities there. And let me just say this overall for the economy. If you get into any business, always think about who benefits from it. Now, children, that's a big thing. I mean, that goes across racial groups, income groups, everything. All those kids still want toys. They still want games. They still need those shoes. They still need clothes. So if you set up even just a small business that impacts children, you can at least make a decent living. I mean, like I said, you gotta love children. You have to do a great job. But look into it. Look into it for business. Look into it because like I said, the beauty of that is you keep getting children. I mean, as I'm even talking about this, I'm thinking about different things. Like remember, both my sons had taken martial arts. That's, and the trainers, they train in young people. They train in everything from like little 5-year-olds and stuff to like teenagers. That makes a big difference. So anything, and it's so many angles. I could sit here and just like things are just literally popping in my head. But explore those businesses. If you want to start a business, think about, wait a minute. All right, I love children. Boom. As soon as somebody say that to me, I was like, okay, you got money. Even if it's babysitting. I remember I had a conversation with a young lady, and she said that's what she does. That's how she makes her money. Shoot, it's so much because I thought about that and I was like, wait a minute, you got people making money off of child monitors, baby furniture. You know what? It's so much. It is so many things. In fact, if you look at any department store, like a major department store, mid-level department store, if you remove the stuff that catered specifically to children, those places be half empty. Those places would be half empty. And it affects so much. So look into those businesses. So anyway, y'all know what to do. Let's go make that money.